The world's most iconic warship is on her way home for the very last time. After 40 years, I've returned to the USS Enterprise, and I feel like I've travelled back in time. It's quite a strange feeling. 40 years ago, I was standing in this position in the Gulf of Tonkin. Planes like these were flying off to bomb North Vietnam. When I filmed these black and white images, I never thought that one day I'd be back on the bridge. Is it hard to believe the ship was in the Vietnam War?
Unbelievable. It's hard to fathom. Those are things I've only seen on pages of books, and here she goes, and still operational.
For 5 decades, this giant war machine has patrolled the world's oceans.
Yankee 202.
A constant reminder of American military power. But it's too costly to keep her running any longer. With new carriers and more efficient technology, the Navy says it's time for this relic to retire. Smile!
Yeah, we're smiling.
So what does it feel like, the last voyage of the Enterprise, considering the history of the ship over the last 51 years?
Well, I think it feels great. It's an honor to be serving aboard the Enterprise.
It's definitely something to be proud of, you know, making the last voyage, and it's definitely something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
All engines back full, emergency indicate 999.
All engines back full, emergency indicate 999.
Aye, sir.
The bridge is the nerve centre of the ship, and here the memories come flowing back.
Cross connecting 1 and 4, bridge up.
The mood is relaxed here now,
Short and simple.
but I remember 40 years ago, the crew was tense
Aye, sir.
as the bombing raids on North Vietnam continued.
The mighty aircraft carrier Enterprise becomes the first nuclear-powered ship ever to enter combat. Off the coast of Vietnam, the Big E launches her Phantom jets against...
I hate to think of how many people were killed by these planes and the enormous civilian toll in that war. Today, Captain Bill Hamilton is in charge. What's it like to captain its last voyage?
Bittersweet, because certainly it's an honor and a privilege to be the commanding officer of Enterprise. And when I say Enterprise, I'm not talking about this piece of steel. I'm talking about these 5,000 sailors that execute the mission.
Bearing approximately 230.
The effort required, as you can imagine, for a 51-year-old ship, the effort required to keep it running, to make it as ready as the newer carriers, it takes a little more, and it takes some more dedication, and it takes longer hours and working in tougher conditions.
I suppose it's a full-time job, is it? Always cleaning?
Yes.
Never
Always.
stops to get rid of the rust?
Yeah, get rid of the dirt and the salt water.
Yeah.
It's corrosive to the jet.
Tired now, but 5 decades ago, the Enterprise was the pride of the fleet. US propaganda sung the praises of a ship driven by a radical new source of energy.
Out of the bursting core of the unseeable atom, scientists and engineers have released a source of energy surpassing anything ever before known or imagined. A boundless physical force with power to reshape the world and the lives of everyone in it, now and in the future.
In theory at least, nuclear power meant this floating air base need never return to port. And as I wander the miles of corridors below deck, I'm constantly reminded that this is a big, mobile chunk of America. From a hearty meal of steak and fries to CNN and the regular fitness classes. 2, 3, 6, 1. It's home to 5,000 servicemen and women, finishing their 8-month deployment.
For the regular t-shirt, not the polo shirt.
There's even a souvenir shop for international visitors.
There's one in extra large. Like a ball cap?
No, for coffee.
Oh, a mug. We don't have any coffee mugs, no. Sorry about that.
But thank you for this.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you.
That's for my daughters.
Oh, good, good. Today, the Danish and Polish navies are on board, and Admiral Ted Carter is keen to show off his firepower.
What would be the total time if you wanted all these aircrafts to take off?
We wanted to get them all up on the flight deck and ready. I've actually done one of those where we launched 50 airplanes at once. You usually have about 35 airplanes in the flight deck and move 15 of these out to those elevators and up about 45 minutes.
This is not a one-off visit. The Big E, as it's affectionately called, has long been used as a floating platform for US diplomacy.
Distinguished guests from Africa, Asia, Australia, and South America were flown aboard on 16 different occasions. After they were given suitable honors, they were escorted around the ships.
And the visitors have included a former sailor who rose to become Commander-in-Chief.
The President of the United States.
The United States Navy helps secure the freedom of countries thousands of miles away, ships which sail hundreds of miles from coasts, far-off places, preserve the freedom of those countries.
But preserving freedom, as JFK described it, also meant frequently swapping diplomacy for direct action.
The United States answered to Soviet blackmail in Cuba.
One of the carrier's first deployments was to the Cuban Missile Crisis, and she has fought in every major conflict since then.
The U.S. threw up a steel fence. The nuclear-powered carrier Enterprise has joined the 7th Fleet off the Vietnam coast to lend added punch to the coastal patrol.
The first strike against the Taliban following 9/11 was launched from these decks. Most recently, the Enterprise has been launching combat missions into Afghanistan and Iraq. Fighting war is one thing, but the big ship's influence has extended beyond the battle zone and into popular culture.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
Come on, lock up, baby. Lock up, baby. Lock up. I got him locked. Bingo.
Those fuzzy dice. Those were in primary here where we're at when they filmed Top Gun, so.
They filmed Top Gun on here?
They sure did.
I actually went to the last Top Gun class in Miramar when they were filming the movie in this airplane. And then I went back to be an instructor there in the F-14 after that. So.
Admiral Ted Carter commands the entire carrier strike group, a lethal combination of the Enterprise and her destroyer escorts.
There is still no other force in the world that does what we do day and night. This one over here is a little bit more historical. This one is one of the...
As a keen student of naval history, he's heard all the arguments about aircraft carriers being outdated war-fighting machines.
All I have to say is you go up on this flight deck, 4.5 acres of U.S. sovereign territory. It can go wherever we need it to go without a permission slip.
So they're back again?
It's never going to go. We're building an aircraft here right now that's going to be a technological leap that it will be so much further advanced than what Enterprise brought that's still relevant after 50 years. And this ship that we're building now, the Gerald Ford, will last for over 90 years.
Whatever the new technology, aircraft will still have to take off and make heart-stopping landings. Just below the flight deck are the men and machines who make it all possible. So these are the wires that hook the planes when they land.
Yes.
It's right in here. This is it.
This cable right here is what it grabs onto on the flight deck,
right,
and it pulls it out. This whole thing is one big hydraulic ram that pushes in,
right,
and it pushes fluid through this cylinder here.
Right.
And as it comes in, this closes so that every plane stops in the same spot on the flight deck. This one here is original. This is a newer model.
Right, but that's like 51 years old.
Yes. It's still holding up today with the planes and the size of the stuff we have coming in. This stuff, I'm surprised it doesn't break more than we do. I mean,
Does it break now and then?
oh yes, it does. But it's, you know, our guys, we do an awesome job of keeping up with it.
I've been in several spots where we were downstairs scrambling to you know, fix something or redo something that you know, maybe fell out of calibration or out of specs for that morning, you know, and to know that the flight deck, they have no idea. They're going to the catapult to launch the aircraft as if nothing's going on, but below decks we're sweating and struggling.
Air Department Master Chief Eric Young has spent a total of almost 10 years on the Enterprise, longer than anyone else on board.
Some people joke me was the only way they can get me off of the ship was to decommission it. So, but you know, I'm gonna miss her, and it's been a great ship, a great tour for me. A lot of history here, a lot of great sailors have came through here. It's a sad day for me.
As the big carrier heads home for the final time, there'll be many who feel the same way.